Hi learners, I welcome you to our 11th lesson. I hope you were able to watch the previous one. If not, do your best to watch lesson 10 before watching this lesson. Otherwise, you might get confused. Now, in our previous lesson, that's lesson 10, we touched on eclipse of the sun and eclipse of the moon. And we look at the explanation of the two types. Then we moved on to look at the diagrams that represent each type. We ended the lesson with differences between eclipse of the sun and eclipse of the moon. I informed you, if my memory could serve me right, that in our next lesson we will learn how to draw the diagram for eclipse of the sun and the diagram for eclipse of the moon. So that is the focus for today's lesson. I wish that, if possible, in order not to waste bundle in watching this over and over again, you can download the video. It is downloadable, so that you have time and learn how to draw it. If you are not able to learn it at first view. So let us begin. Now, before we start, why are we stressing on learning to draw the diagram of eclipse of the sun and the moon? The reason is not only in science, but in your social studies lesson, you will be required to draw the eclipse of the sun and the moon. And it is important to learn to draw or know how to draw a diagram. Because if it's not well drawn, you might not be able to get your marks. So now let's begin with how to draw eclipse of the sun. Of course, you need your straight edge or ruler, you need your pencil, and if possible, your eraser, and maybe your pen for labeling. Now, in order to draw eclipse of the sun, we need to be aware of the three heavenly bodies that are arranged for eclipse of the sun to occur. We have sun, we have moon, and we have the earth. So we'll begin drawing the sun. So you draw a very beautiful circle. There's no need to use compass. You can use your free hand, or you can use a coin. So you draw your sun neatly, as you can see on your screen, and label it. Then the next one is to draw the moon. It should be as small as possible. It should be smaller than the earth. But in drawing the moon, it should be drawn at a distance away from the sun, close to your right red margin in your exercise book, or if it's a drawing sheet you are using, close to the right edge, but not very close, but towards it. Assuming there is an edge, it should be somewhere here, but it should be far away from the sun. So we'll now draw the moon neatly and label it. Now, the next thing is to draw the rays with your straight edge and pencil. Draw the first line, over on top, we should move over the moon, touching it this way. Now this is a line, it's not a ray. A ray of light should have an arrow on it, so you now put your arrow on it, as you can see here. Next is to draw the next outer ray here, connecting the circumference of the sun and the moon. Then again you put your arrow. Now we'll now proceed to draw another ray at this point. This time around, this ray will move below the moon, as you can see. Then you now place your arrow. Good. Now we'll do the same thing to this side. You can see. Then again you place your arrow on it. The arrows are very important, otherwise you lose marks. Now, having completed this part of the drawing, we'll now place our earth here. You see, so it's not appropriate to draw all the heavenly bodies, the 3 heavenly bodies, before drawing a race. You might not get the shadow right. See, the shadow is formed here. The total darkness is formed here. So now we'll draw the earth well leveled this way. Now we have completed the diagrams. But remember, we need to label some other parts. That is where we have the total darkness. This is where we have the total darkness. You can as well shade these parts. This is your pencil. Okay. So let's label these parts as total darkness or total eclipse. Or some use the word umbra. So draw a line and label total eclipse, as you can see. Next has to do with this part, this region. This region constitutes partial darkness or partial eclipse. So let's label that one too. Good. So as I'm saying, you have to shade. It's not compulsory though, but it makes the diagram more clear and more detailed. So you shade this place darker than these two parts. These two parts should be shaded partially. Alright, so this is how we draw eclipse of the sun. So let me quickly reverse and go over how it is drawn. So first of all, draw your sun, draw your moon, label it. Then start with the outer rays. First one, label it with an arrow. Then the next outer one below, arrow. Then we come to the inner ones that look like cross or scissors. Label it. Then this side labeled. And now you add your earth and label the parts where we have total darkness or umbra as total eclipse, and then the partial parts as partial eclipse or penumbra. I hope you have got the procedure right. And practice drawing, because I am going to ask you in your next assignment to draw this diagram for me, and I hope you can do it. So now let's move on to how to draw eclipse of the moon. So that's how to draw eclipse of the moon. Now the procedure is very similar to that of eclipse of the sun, just that the arrangement is different. We will have earth in the middle instead of the moon. So now let's move on. Again, you start with your sun. The sun is drawn. Then you draw your earth. So these two diagrams are very important. Again, they should be distance apart. Then you now start with the outer rays. well labeled, as you can see. Below, well labeled. And then the inner rays with the arrow. Very good. So having completed this part, we'll now insert our moon, which will be to the right of the Earth, as you can see, and should be labeled. So again, we have in no time completed the diagram for eclipse of the moon. Again, label the part that's where we have total darkness. This is the part we have total darkness, and this is where we have the partial darkness. So we're going to label it as we did for eclipse of the sun. So this is it. Then the total eclipse labeled, then partial eclipse. So quickly, let's go over. First of all, draw your sun, the Earth, outer rays, the arrow, the inner rays, the arrow. Then you bring your moon, label it. Then label the part that is where we have total darkness. That's total eclipse. Then partial eclipse. We're through with the procedure. Yes, this lesson is short. It is focused on learning how to draw diagrams for eclipse of the sun and the moon. So that's what we've learned today. Thank you for your patience, and make sure you do the exercise on this lesson today. In our next lesson, my dear learners, we shall start with another important property of light. So just gone by is we spend so much time looking at the property of light that states that light travels in a straight line. So we began with experiment, linear propagation of light. Then we'll move on to look at pinhole camera as an evidence that light travels in a straight line. Then we'll move on to shadow formation, where we look at the two types of shadow, or showing evidence that light travels in a straight line. Then finally we ended with eclipse of the sun and of the moon as evidence that light travels in a straight line. The next property we're going to learn on is reflection of light. The light can be reflected. We're going to study reflection definition, the diagram, the laws, and the application or devices that make use of reflection of light. Till we meet again, stay safe. Bye-bye.